What's up everyone? And welcome to Greetings and Salutations.
We all know why we're here, so let's get stuck into it. Have you ever made your own trains models? Not from scratch, no. I've only ever really used reskins of current models. What are you going to do when the stories of Sodor goes beyond the present? I don't think it will be going beyond the present, like I'm not going to set it in the far future if that's what you mean. Ever thought of putting yourself in your series? Well, my OC has appeared as a background character a couple of times, but that's about it. They say everything tries to kill you in Australia, so how many things have tried to kill you in the Great Down Under? Nothing, thankfully. I'm very careful to stay away from areas that I know are going to contain dangerous animals, which is pretty much everything outside, which is why I don't go outside very much. How do you feel about the few negative comments about your series? It comes with the territory, it really doesn't bother me. People don't have to like my stuff. What are your top 3 genres? Action, fantasy, sci-fi. What audio equipment do you use? The microphone I use is an Audio-Technica ATR 2100. What was the hardest episode of Stories of Sodor to create? Robbery. Which was the darkest Thomas fan story you saw or heard? Shed 17, hands down. That was just freaky, but my god, it was brilliant. I seriously recommend you guys watch it. Are you righty, lefty, or ambidextrous? Right-handed, but, sort of ambidextrous. Do you have a wife? No, I'm single, and if anyone's also wondering, I'm straight. Can you make some music videos or song videos for your series? I would if I could sing. Will there be an engine linked towards the LGBT community? Yes. What is your favorite class of British steam locomotive? I rather like the 9Fs, though the 8Fs are pretty good too. However, I would love to see the Flying Scotsman up close. What's your favorite classic Thomas and Friends series? Probably season 4, since that was the one that introduced the narrow gauge engines. Do you have any deleted scenes from any episodes? No, any footage I don't use, I just delete it. Where did the Percy Don't Do That segment come from in your Sodor shorts? I don't know, it just came about, and Percy felt like the right character for that. What kind of store do you own? I don't own a store, I work for a store. It's just retail, nothing exciting. I work in the logistics department as the supervisor, so it's basically my job to make sure everything that comes from the dock gets out to the sales floor. If you could rewrite one episode per season, which ones would you pick? I wouldn't rewrite any of them, as I'm quite happy with them. Do you plan on releasing any episodes you originally had planned on season 4 before it was redone in part 2? No, those episodes are gone because they were terrible. Who is your least favorite character in your series? Probably Station Master Jeffries for obvious reasons. He was an ass. Have you ever considered perhaps sharing the workload on creating Stories of Sodor? No. What is your favorite steam locomotive? That would be the 3801. It's a very famous steam engine here in Australia. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I think that's pretty much what solidified my love of trains. Who or what made you start using trains for your videos? I think it was just from watching all the other videos, and somehow I found out that the program used was trains, and, well, it just went from there. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Home Alone 2. What's your Christmas tradition? Don't have one. Was your quarantine good or bad? Definitely better than most. In fact, it's only recently become mandatory that we have to wear masks when in shopping centers and at my job. What is your favorite candy? Candy. What is your favorite memory? Skydiving. What is your favorite holiday? Probably would have been the first time my family and I went to SeaWorld on the Gold Coast in Queensland. That was so much fun. What episode or season are you most proud of? I'm probably most proud of my Stories of War miniseries. As for an individual episode, probably Trial. Do you or have you played a musical instrument? Throughout school I played various types of instruments. There was trumpet, the flute, violin, but I was terrible at all of them, and no, I don't play any instruments now. Do you ever just fool around on trains for fun? Sometimes, not as much as I probably should though. Words of wisdom for someone like me in my early 20s. 10 years from now, you'll look back on yourself and say, I was a goddamn idiot back then. How and where did you make your YouTube channel art? I just use a free program called Paint.net. It's really good. It's nothing fancy like Photoshop. Have you ever considered getting into model railways? I do have a collection of models and track, which I have set up from time to time. How long have you been a Thomas the Tank Engine fan? I don't remember not being one. The voice you speak in, is it your real voice? Yes, this is what I sound like. And over the years it has been a little bit annoying as I've been mistaken for a couple of different nationalities as a result, English being the most common one, and the most bizarre one was Canadian. That one had me really confused. It still does. Also, I've been mistaken for American. Someone explain that to me. What's your favorite Star Wars movie and why? Return of the Jedi, just because. Thomas or Tugs? Yes. What do you prefer, toast or crumpets? Toast. What do you think was your best video? Are you a railway enthusiast? No, not really. I have an appreciation for it, don't get me wrong, I'm just not hardcore. Do you like Canadian railroads? Having ridden on the Rocky Mountaineer, I can definitely say yes. Well, since the 3801 is my favorite steam engine, I would probably make a character of that. Offhand, I can't remember what class that is, but I'd probably make that engine female, and I'd probably name her Sharon. What are the best and worst parts of using trains? Best part is the game allows for my series to be made at all, and in the scale I want it. Worst parts? The camera control can be a little bit iffy from time to time, but then again I doubt it was originally intended to be used for filmmaking. Will you do a short based on Pokemon? Yes. Who's the easiest character to voice? Edward, as he's just closest to my own voice. Who's the hardest character to voice? That'd be Henry because it's very grating on my vocal cords, and sometimes if I do it for too long, my throat gets so sore that I just can't hardly talk. How does your family and friends feel about you making Thomas videos? They're incredibly supportive and they love the idea. So much so that for my 30th birthday they gave me this. If this is not the best present ever, I don't know what is. What's your favorite trains route? There's too many to count. Who's your favorite narrator from the show? I'm quite fond of Ringo Starr since he was my first narrator, but you can't deny the superiority of Michelangelis. I do have to admit George Carlin is very entertaining too, both on Thomas the Tank Engine and off it too. He's such a funny comedian. How do you get idea for all the character voices? Mostly I mold them off Tug's character voices and various other characters, and I usually cycle through a few different voices when I'm introducing a new character to see which one fits. What is your process on how you decide to kill off a character or have them sent away? I usually ask the question, will the series be worse off without them? And if the answer is no, well then they get the chop. What do you think is the best trains model? They're all brilliant, really. The amount of work and effort that goes into them is incredible. That being said, I do have a special fondness for Wild Nor'Wester's models. He's just such an amazing content creator. What version of trains do you use? Trains 2019 Platinum Edition. Do you have any pets? No. Steamies or diesels? Steamies. Have you ever considered machinima in any other games? No. Why did you change the names of certain characters like Diesel 10 and Lady? I have nothing against the original names, they just sound too impersonal to me. Who do you think would and should be the main character for the Thomas and Friends TV series? I say Edward, although the unlucky Tug did make an excellent case for why Gordon is the main character of the series. You should definitely go check that video out. If time and money weren't an issue, would you become a full-time streamer of games? No. What is your favorite guilty pleasure snack food? Strawberries. How are you doing mentally? Much better than a few years ago, and it's largely thanks to the support of you guys, so thank you. Why did you want your channel to be all about Thomas and Friends? It's what I knew best, so I figured why not stick to my strength. How many times do you either have to re-record lines or rewrite the script? More times than I care to count. Did you start with an idea for the series and stick with it, or has the vision changed many times over the past few years? I didn't really start with a vision, I just made videos and waited to see where it would take me. Is it annoying that you have to do every single character for your stories? No, not really. Do you know Dewey? Always. What was the inspiration behind Green Water, Black Water, etc. for your series? Well, it's been established throughout the years the engines are capable of feeling pain, so naturally there has to be something to nullify that, hence the green water. As for the black water, I don't really know what the inspiration behind that was. What's a magpie? It's a type of bird. I'll put a picture of it on the screen right here. Ordinarily they're harmless, but during the springtime when they lay their eggs, they're very protective of their nests and are known to dive bomb people. The worst part is you never see or hear them coming, and when they hit you, they've been known to draw blood. I've never been attacked by one, but I've seen footage of people who have been, and it's not pretty. What other franchises do you like other than Thomas the Tank Engine and Tugs? I like Star Wars, and I'm quite into Lord of the Rings, and a few other ones. What do you think is the reason behind your channel's rapid growth since 2017? Well, to quote Michael Bublé, I think it's half timing and the other half's luck. What made you decide to include swearing in stories of war, and were you wary of the reaction it would receive? It was set during a time of war, and I figured swearing would just be par for the course. Yes, I was a little bit wary at the time, and every other time I've sworn since. And truth be told, my adaptation short was kind of a test, so to speak. I deliberately went all out with the swearing just to see how you guys would react, like how many of you would be offended, how many of you would enjoy it, and I guess I've been kind of emboldened since, which is why I have included a bit more swearing. I'll make sure not to go too overboard with it, but I trust you guys will let me know if I do. Could you create a tutorial where you show us how to create stories of Sodor? Yes, I do plan on doing that. How long does it take you to make an episode? Usually about a week, maybe 2 at most, depending on the complexity of it. Is this a question? Is this an answer? Okay, that's where I'm going to draw the video to a close. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.